provided by Thomas Allgaier and Frennis, based on the most relevant posts on LinkedIn about electrification and battery technology in CW 3435. Frennis is a B2B market research company working with enterprises to optimize their campaigns with account and executive insights far beyond AI. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to give you that essential shortcut, keeping you right up to speed in the, pretty fast-moving world of next-gen vehicles and mobility. Today, we are really digging into the absolute cutting edge, electrification and battery technology. We've gone through a lot of LinkedIn posts from calendar weeks 34 and 35, the most relevant ones, the most insightful, all to bring you the critical trends, the breakthroughs you really need to know about.
That's exactly right. Our goal here is, to give you a solid grasp of what's happening right now, because this sector, it just moves so quickly. And what really jumps out from all these posts, it isn't just a random collection of news items.
Yeah.
No, there's a clear strategic focus emerging across the industry. We're seeing this relentless push for, pragmatic reliability, making sure this new infrastructure actually works day in, day out, consistently. And crucially, this is really important. Success hinges on getting the funding to bridge those regional gaps, plus forging really strong ecosystem partnerships. That's how you turn strategies into, actual deployable assets.
Right.
It's all about getting past the pilot stage and into widespread practical use.
That's such a key point, because it's not just about the flashy new tech, is it? It's about making it work reliably everywhere for everyone. So, okay, let's unpack this. Our first big theme, charging infrastructure, scaling up and smartening the network. It seems pretty clear the industry is thinking way beyond just, sticking more chargers in the ground. It's about optimizing how they actually fit into the complex energy grid.
Absolutely. And the sheer scale of expansion needed is, it's immense. Just take India, for example. Benny Parihar from Averta. He's spearheading efforts there, really pushing to accelerate India's EV charging by focusing on local production of DC chargers. Their target is pretty ambitious, 15% market share by 2030.
15%? Wow.
And if you zoom out even further, Wood Mackenzie predicts India alone will jump from maybe 14,000 DC chargers now, get this, to 1.1 million by 2040.
1.1 million DC chargers just in India
Right.
by 2040, that number. It really hammers home the scale of this task, doesn't it?
It really does.
But like you said, it's not only about volume, it's about making the network smarter, more efficient. Nicholas Lert shared insights on their Gateway platform that's designed specifically for reliable, scalable EV charging management. And Evan McCann's chat with SWTCH CEO Carter Lee that really got into the nitty-gritty of integrating charging with, existing buildings and real estate. This isn't just a tech problem, it's an urban planning thing too, or real estate puzzle.
Exactly. And that integration piece, it really shines a light on the ecosystem strategy side of things. Theo Brunken made a really compelling point. He argued the big investment opportunity isn't in closed proprietary networks. It's in fostering open charging networks.
Why open?
Well, primarily because of the huge capital needed and the sheer speed you need to execute at. Open networks tend to scale faster. And we're seeing this rapid expansion already. Martin Stearns, he noted impressive growth in the Baltics. Apparently, concerns about long trips are fading fast for EV owners there.
That's great to hear.
And Simon Voss shared his own experience, a European road trip. No detours needed to find a charger. That's a massive step in tackling that old range anxiety issue.
Yeah, that's fantastic for the user experience. I saw Maxim Riznichenko outline what Tesla sees as the ideal charging flow, basically. Arrive, find a spot, plug in, it charges automatically, pace seamlessly, and off you go. Minimal friction.
The dream scenario.
Right. And Apple Maps is apparently integrating charging wallet features too, which should help streamline things even more. But it's not just convenience, right? We need fair access too. Matthew Eastwood and Noel Riddell mentioned Scotland's $4.5 million fund. That's specifically for rural and island EV charging, making sure remote areas aren't left out.
Yeah, that accessibility piece is absolutely fundamental for widespread adoption. You can't just serve the cities. Florian Schwinder reported on Hyundai's commitment here, offering customers access to 1 million charge points across Europe. That's huge.
1 million.
And Christophe Lefilibert gave an update on Europe's CPO, that's charge point operator expansion, the Netherlands alone, over 200,000 public points now. And across Europe, over 1 million points are accessible through roaming agreements. The network is definitely growing.
Okay, that's a lot of positive momentum, but surely it's not all smooth sailing. This rapid growth must come with some challenges, right?
Oh, absolutely. Growing pains are inevitable.
Yeah, Sohrab Aslanbeji offered a very, let's say, candid take on public charging issues in the UK. He talked about unavailable chargers. You turn up and it's broken, frustrating queues, plus wildly different payment methods, sometimes needing like multiple apps, and costs all over the place from 29p up to 93p per kilowatt hour.
Ouch.
Exactly, and big differences depending on where you are in the country. So yeah, far from seamless for everyone just yet. Florian Kulser's analysis kind of backs this up. He stressed that the practical experience, transparent pricing, and even like the emotional communication around EVs are still super important for getting people fully on board.
It's the human factor again.
Totally. It's as much about people as it is about the plugs.
And all these points together, they really lead us to the critical need for future-proofing this whole infrastructure. Angela E. had some great advice on this. He stressed aligning everything. The battery chemistry, the vehicle platforms, the software mentioning OCPP 2.0.1 plus MEST. That's the Open Charge Point Protocol, the standard they use to talk to each other.
Right, the communication standard.
Exactly. And robust business models. You need all those pieces aligned for the long haul. He also pointed to the industry shift towards 800-volt, even with 1,000-volt battery packs.
Which means faster charging, right?
Much faster charging, more power.
Yeah.
Especially critical for heavy-duty stuff, trucks, buses. And that's where the megawatt charging system, MCS, comes into play.
Megawatt charging.
Yeah, imagine delivering, say, 100 megawatts of power. That's what Roberto Diesel showcased with Huawei's mega truck charging park in China. 100 milliW output. Enough to charge a whole fleet of big rigs. Fast.
That's genuinely game-changing for logistics.
Absolutely. And companies like D-Space are already showing they're ready for MCS, so the tech is definitely moving quickly there.
Okay, so from the physical network, let's pivot a bit. How are these vehicles changing beyond just getting us from A to B?
Our next theme, bidirectional and smart energy. EVs as dynamic grid assets. This feels like a really profound shift, not just plugging your car in, but your car becoming an active part of the whole energy system. An energy flow revolution, as someone put it.
It really is where the potential just explodes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Shicho described bidirectional charging as a game changer. So just to clarify for everyone, bidirectional means the EV doesn't just take power from the grid, it can send it back.
Right.
And this comes in a few flavors. You've got V2G vehicle to grid supporting a main power network, V2H vehicle to home powering your house, and V2L vehicle to load powering external things like tools or camping gear.
Good.
The big benefit, it helps stabilize the grid, and it can actually lower energy costs for the owner. BJ Pocarl even painted this picture of your car acting as a backup generator if the power goes out. Imagine that. Your house stays powered during a blackout because of your car in the driveway. That's pretty compelling.
Definitely a powerful image.
And it's not just theory anymore, is it? Manfred Prisabilla shared a real-world example. A successful V2H setup in Mainz, Germany. It integrated rooftop solar, a home battery, and a VW ID.3. All working together, it's a real glimpse of household energy independence.
It is. Tangible proof it works. But that does raise the big question, doesn't it? How do we get from these cool pilot projects to making this mainstream, scaling it up across whole regions or even countries?
Yeah, what's the key to scaling?
Well, one crucial part is the human element. Florian Lepowski brought this up, drawing on insights from the Netherlands. He basically said changing people's behavior is just as vital as perfecting the technology. Apparently, there's still some resistance to V2G from some folks, even though studies like one from RWTH Aiken show it barely impacts battery life and could actually earn users over, say, €600.
Huh. Interesting. So it's not just tech hurdles, it's about trust and understanding the benefits.
Exactly. Convincing people it's safe, easy, and worthwhile.
That behavioral piece is fascinating. But the potential benefits for society seem huge. Julie DeVecchio projected that by 2050, okay, it's a way off, but still, EVs could make up maybe 80% of Australia's entire battery storage capacity.
80%? That's incredible scale.
Right. And Jap Berger made an even bolder claim. If you aggregate all this smart charging, get all these bidirectional EVs talking to the grid, it could cut everyone's electricity bills by 10% by 2035.
Even people who don't own an EV.
Even non-EV owners, because having all that flexible, cheap storage available benefits the whole grid.
That's a powerful argument for the collective good. And it's definitely driving more development, although, yeah, there were still hurdles. Robert Farrago mentioned ongoing testing plug fests for ISO 151-1820.
Okay, what are plug fests in that ISO standard?
Right, so plugfests are basically events where different manufacturers get together and test if their equipment actually works smoothly with everyone else's. Interoperability testing. And ISO 151-1820 is a really important international standard. It covers how the vehicle talks to the charger securely, especially for things like V2G.
Gotcha. So essential groundwork.
Very essential. But we're still waiting for widespread official battery warranty support from car makers, specifically covering bidirectional use. That's still a bit of a barrier for consumers.
Makes sense. You don't want to void your warranty.
Exactly. But on a positive note, Felix Hamer shared that Volvo is actually launching bidirectional charging in Sweden. And importantly, their system is certified as a team, the car and their specific wall box together. That's a big step from a major OEM.
Okay, good progress there. So moving from how the car interacts with the grid, let's focus on the heart of the EV itself, batteries and storage. This third theme, it feels like it's not just about powering the car anymore. It's increasingly about sustainability, circularity, and finding new jobs for these batteries after their first life.
Yes. The Second Life innovation space is really heating up. It's exciting to see. Dario Motovali announced Voltfang launching Europe's largest Second Life battery storage factory. That signals a real move toward industrial scale for battery reuse.
Largest in Europe, wow.
Yeah. And we're seeing concrete projects too. Oscars Ozolish pointed to one in Texas using 500 retired EV batteries. 500. Together, they create a 24 megawatt-hour grid storage system. That's substantial.
Definitely.
And Jay Ferguson shared a cool example from New Zealand. They're using old Nissan Leaf batteries, not just for storage, but actually to boost charging speeds locally and improve grid resilience. So multiple benefits.
That's incredibly resourceful, giving batteries a whole second career. I also saw Anuj Chetri talking about using old EV batteries to power AI data centers.
Data centers. Interesting angle.
Yeah, think about it. A potentially sustainable, scalable power source for a massively growing, energy-hungry industry.
That makes a lot of sense.
But okay, while reuse is ramping up, what about making the first batteries? Are there challenges there? Carolina Medeiros reported on Porsche. Apparently, they're shifting focus for their Cellforce unit, that's their battery venture, moving from aiming for full-scale production more towards R&D for now.
Oh, why the shift?
Citing weaker global demand than expected and ongoing cost challenges, it really underscores how tough and competitive it is to bring new battery tech to market at scale.
Yeah, it definitely highlights those competitive dynamics. Ryan Fisher observed Europe is facing a bit of a struggle in establishing its own large-scale battery production. He even suggested that maybe partnerships with China, who are currently dominant, might be strategically necessary for European players.
A potentially controversial point, but maybe realistic.
It's a complex issue, and Ricardo Moreno added another layer, focusing on EV motors and their reliance on rare earth elements. That dependency really points to a bigger challenge, the need to decarbonize the entire supply chain right back to the mining if we want truly clean mobility.
Good point. It's the whole life cycle. What about consumer confidence, though? Battery life, safety, those are still big questions for many people.
They are, but there's progress. Saba, AZIZI from CATL, shared some pretty dramatic safety test results. They were crushing batteries, sticking nails through them, drilling them at high speed.
Yikes.
And demonstrating no fire, no explosions, stable performance. That kind of demonstrable safety is huge for building trust.
Absolutely. Peace of mind is critical.
And on the longevity front, especially for used EVs, Steph Cornelis mentioned a Dutch insurer. They're now offering something called EV battery security. It basically guarantees a replacement if the battery capacity drops below 70% within 12 years or 300,000 kilometers.
12 years or 300,000 kilometers, that's a strong guarantee. Should really help the secondhand market.
Exactly. It tackles that worry about buying a used EV with a degraded battery. And these things help counter those myths about battery lifespan. Bill H. was debunking some of those, suggesting realistically EV batteries are likely to last 15 years or more.
15 years, that's much longer than many people think.
Right. It reflects the continuous improvements. And it's not just the cells themselves. Meyer Nassef highlighted how innovations in things like adhesives from companies like Henkel are helping make EVs lighter and extend battery life too. Every little bit helps.
Okay, fascinating stuff on batteries. So for our final theme, let's look at the bigger picture. OEMs and partnerships, navigating a global collaborative future. This really pulls together how the whole industry, the big automakers, the suppliers, the new entrants, is trying to adapt through investment, collaboration, and, well, fierce competition.
It's definitely a dynamic interplay. We saw Peter Polak reporting on Toyota making a significant investment in the Czech Republic, in Kolin. They're setting up new production specifically for battery electric vehicles, BEVs, and importantly, including battery assembly right there.
In-house battery assembly.
Yeah, it aligns with their big goal, carbon neutrality in Europe by 2040, shows a real strategic commitment to regional production and decarbonizing their operations.
And that commitment seems to extend to collaboration too, especially around the circular economy idea. Eddie M. detailed how Toyota and Mazda are actually working together. They're field testing reclaimed EV batteries.
Reclaimed batteries? For what?
For stationary energy storage, right at Mazda's headquarters in Hiroshima.
Okay.
The goal is twofold: support resource security, reuse those valuable materials, and also help smooth out the ups and downs of renewable energy generation. It gives the batteries a useful life beyond the car.
That makes perfect sense. Closing the loop.
Yeah.
But as you said, alongside collaboration, there's intense competition. Peter Schwirtz highlighted the pressure on German suppliers. These companies, traditionally giants, are facing serious competition, especially from fast-growing Chinese firms.
Serious competition.
Yeah. And there's this feeling, maybe a bit controversial, that the lead Asian manufacturers have in battery cells might be uncatchable now, which is pushing European companies to pivot, perhaps. Focus more on software-defined vehicles, connectivity, new markets where they can still lead.
Interesting strategic shift. So if that lead in cells is hard to catch, how do European OEMs stay competitive overall?
That brings us back to partnerships. Ryan Fisher's point again that European OEMs might need to partner with Chinese companies, perhaps strategically, to remain competitive globally.
A necessary alliance, perhaps.
Potentially. And Xiaojing, Stella F., really emphasized this alliance aspect, shaping Europe's EV charging future specifically. It's not just one company dominating. It's strategic alliances and also the expansion of those roaming partnerships we mentioned earlier, now close to 1 million charge points accessible across Europe. Collaboration and interconnectedness seem absolutely key for success going forward.
Okay, that wraps up our main themes. If you enjoyed this deep dive, remember, new episodes drop every 2 weeks. And do check out our other editions covering future mobility and market evolution, next-gen vehicle intelligence, and commercial fleet insights. So thinking about everything we've discussed today, what really stands out, I think, is the incredible speed at which electric vehicles are evolving. They're going from just being, ways to get around to becoming these really sophisticated, interconnected energy assets. As we head towards this future where your car might power your home or help keep the grid stable or maybe even run part of a data center, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How is this fundamental shift going to redefine our own personal relationship with energy, with our homes, our communities, and what completely unexpected opportunities might pop up as these lines between mobility and the energy sector just keep getting blurrier? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks so much for joining us for the deep dive. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next exploration.